Hi, I'm Sapna Chandu, the curator of MoNOW, Manifestations of Now. I've curated 18 artists from around Australia with work that explores a sense of Australian consciousness now and something that really, I believe, informs identity and culture as we live it and feel it at the moment. In the end, I think it's more or less a pretty eccentric or eclectic mix of artworks. I guess this is what I feel best describes a sense of different perspectives and different realities, which I think is very relevant to a sense of Australian consciousness now.
The allegory of the cave is perhaps the foundational myth of Western philosophy, and I wanted to explore and critique that in a way that was kind of unrestrained and decentralised. It's kind of about restricted access to knowledge in the world, and our perception of reality as being very limited by our senses and by the structures that we have. I wanted to make the space kind of quite disorientating, but also quite playful, and this idea of the world being a kind of topsy-turvy playground where we lose ourselves and we don't really have a solid grounding, but that there can be maybe stability in communal utopian kind of ideals, or in this idea of autonomy as a creative individual. The Freudian elements in the work came to the surface very abruptly when I started making sculptures out of Play-Doh and re-examining this childlike way of making. And one of the bust of Plato that I was making out of Play-Doh, I found resembled my father, and I thought that was kind of interesting, Plato being the father figure of Western philosophy, and this kind of, it made it very creepy kind of. Well, yeah, I guess Plato is creepy anyway as well, has these weird kind of phallic associations, and basically, I guess it's also associated with the kind of anal fixation or phallic fixation in the prepubescent development of a child, so yeah.
It's a four-part installation, 3 videos and 1 large photograph, but actually the installation has extended because Dad is now part of it as living art, and there's also, we've introduced trays titled Love, Hate and Healing, and they're a collection of the email responses. So this video actually combines the 2 greatest influences on my life, and that is dance and also the dark history that my parents sometimes spoke about, sometimes didn't speak about, or that I didn't even know. So it's dancing and Auschwitz, and the whole project is called Dancing Auschwitz. So the most popular element is the video where my family of 3 generations, my father, myself and 3 of my 4 children, are dancing at concentration camps and memorials throughout Europe, in Germany, in the Czech Republic and in Poland, to the pop song by Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive.
It was Auschwitz, Dachau and Theresienstadt.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's the video that went viral on YouTube and caused a lot of controversy, which created the Love, Hate and Healing emails. Then there's a little video on our left which informs the video that went viral, and that little video on the left is, I call it old footage, old family footage, and it shows me as a little girl dancing with my parents and their friends, and all of whom were survivors after the war, and they're dancing freely and happily in a forest outside Melbourne. And I included that in the show because I really felt that told the story of my upbringing, my growing up years, where I was always exposed to dancing, and my parents always took any opportunity to dance and celebrate life. So we all met together in Poland, and I explained to my father too, of course, and I said, Dad, I've got this idea. You're alive, you had a generation, you created a new generation, and that generation created another generation, and so it goes. So we have to really, you know, celebrate that and pay a tribute to life. So that's what we did. We went back to those places which hold so much bad memory and horror, and we danced to life, and we danced to, I guess, the memory of the past, the memory of all those people who were wiped out just because of who they were, because they were Jews or gypsies or blacks or gays or political prisoners. We danced to them, and we danced to the future, and dancing to the hope that the memory and the lessons of the past would continue.
How it felt. Yeah, it's hard to describe. I can't answer this question because it is too difficult. How you felt? You were very confused. But on the other hand, I was very happy because I came with my 6 grandchildren to show them what actually was happening. And they have seen with their own eyes what actually, how, and how I survived, and what actually was happening there. Because it's really unbelievable that people couldn't believe that you could survive Auschwitz. Very little people survived Auschwitz.
I think the balance of being back with his family outweighed the sadness and memory. I think that was much more powerful, what's happening in the present.